terms of greater investment, greater financial support, and synergy of economic kind. An economic and technical cooperation agreement is under discussion, and it will be desirable from Sri Lankan point of view as well as from India's own point of view to have it entered quickly. There is an FTA for a free trade agreement between the two countries, which is proved to be a bit imperfect and from Indian perspective. But the bilateral trade of $5.5 billion is in India's favor, nearly 3-1. And therefore, Sri Lanka might have some expectancy of greater balance in trade. I should also add here that in the past 1 week, President Donald Trump's tariffs have affected both countries, India and Sri Lanka, but more Sri Lanka because I think the tariffs against them are something like 37%, while India, as we all know, is 27%. Sri Lanka used to export a lot of garments to United States, and this particular aspect would come to some challenge through this new tariff regime, and they would be looking at India as an alternate market, not only for garments but also for other things, many of which compete with it. So we would like to find a way of squaring the circle so that the two sides can chalk out greater synergy economically. I think a defense cooperation agreement is also on the anvil, although both sides have kept it under wraps. This would be a reassuring development for India.
Very much, Your Excellencies. We shall now witness the virtual inauguration of the temperature-controlled agricultural warehouse in Dambulla. To commence this segment, it's time to take a look at a brief video showcasing the key features and the significance of this vital project.
Further advancing the people-centric development partnership between India and Sri Lanka, another project that will be inaugurated.
All right, viewers, these are the live visuals. Key MoUs have been exchanged, and MoUs between India, Sri Lanka and in fact United Arab Emirates has been changed for the sectors including development project across trade, connectivity, energy and even railways. The MoUs between the Government of India and Ministry of Digital Economy GOSL incorporation has been signed. Strategic MoUs and significant MoUs have been signed between India and Sri Lanka. Agreements have been made as bilateral talks are underway in many sectors, as in fact Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sri Lankan President are seated next to each other. In fact, a big shift is expected to be made in the bilateral relations of India and Sri Lanka. As in fact, I am being joined by Bhushan Dewan, who is a former Navy officer on the broadcast. Sir, appreciate you joining me this morning and thank you very much for speaking to us. Several significant MoUs being signed at this point of time. What was being anticipated has now happened. Delegation level talks have been held, and it is it is actually shaping the future of India and Sri Lanka, and the several developmental projects in many sectors across health, digital, and the trade and connectivity, which is going to shape. And when we talk about, in fact, how both the nation have strengthened their power in and deepened their relationship, what do you think this very significant visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Sri Lanka is going to give a message and signal at?
Simran, after President Trump becoming president of USA on 20th January, it is the right time, and he has come up with his MAGA plan, which is undoing the WTO and globalization perspective for the whole world altogether. Now, what does that mean? That means the regional cooperation accords, regional connectivity accords. For example, BIMSTEC. SARC is almost dead because Pakistan was part of it. BIMSTEC, BIM, STEC, S for Sri Lanka, even Thailand, Myanmar, Bhutan, Bangladesh, India. But these such accords, such agreement, joint, such partnerships regional partnerships are going to take greater and greater weight and greater influence and say in the coming decades. Why? Both economically, geostrategically, defense point of view, geopolitically. And as far as neighborhood first policy of India is concerned, India and Sri Lanka have been very close to each other for many years, with hiccups in between. Hiccups do happen, you know how it is. The fights in neighborhood, fights within the family, husband and wife, and all these things are more severe fights than the fights with distant neighbors. So those fights have been there, notwithstanding, it is a need of the hour. It is inescapable for India also and for Sri Lanka also. It is inescapable that they have to cooperate. And all the more reason with MAGA, Make America Great Again, coming up. And secondly, because of China's aggressive maneuvers and posturing in full Indian Ocean, Indo-Pacific Ocean, and Indian Ocean. Now, we have traditional ties, as Mr. Saddev brilliantly brought out. And I must tell you, I joined the Indian Navy in 1970. I fought the 71 war. And I found during my training in the Navy that so many naval officers, Sri Lankan naval officers, Sri Lankan
Minister Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, Honorable Ministers,
in India for many, many years, decades, Simran. Why? Both India and Sri Lanka have British kind of military structure, military systems. Now, the need of connectivity when you talk about, and digital economy when you talk about, I can assure you, with my background as ex-vice president of Tata Consultancy Services, the huge scope for improving efficiencies through digital economy for India also, for Sri Lanka also. And India being a IT superpower position, in the IT superpower position, we can really help Sri Lanka make their economy highly digital. For example, our UPI, BHIM is well accepted in many countries, payment system. And on finance, on money, we have seen that the whole world knows $4 to $5 billion aid we have given to Sri Lanka in 2022 to bail them out of the IMF loan, and many things which we were supporting in Sri Lanka through loans. We have converted those loans into grant lines, which means gratis. So those things are very much need of the hour, and they will increase. But this thing has not come one day sooner or one day later, because now these regional blocks like BIMSTEC and will really catch importance. And see, another thing, the point is that that China, when it is being pressurized by, I'm trying to put it in a strategic perspective, when China is being pressurized by heavy tariffs by Trump administration, they are developing close relations with the ASEAN countries for economy, for trade, for defense. The same is the compulsion and same is the need of the hour for us. And this will grow definitely. And but however, as Mr. Saddev also pointed out, there is a free trade agreement, FTA, between India and Sri Lanka since 2000. It was signed in 1998, but it has been so much on the low claim burner. The second point is that by rupee trade, which is also BRICS issue, which is also issue that if American domination, global domination has to go down, alternative currency or alternative to US dollar has to emerge. And in parts, whether UAE, Saudi, Russia, Sri Lanka, more and more rupee trade will happen. Already Wistro account is open in Sri Lanka, in India, in our State Bank of India by Sri Lanka, so that lot of trading can happen through rupee account. But all this will gather a definitely high momentum. It's a good time, good period for us that our Sagar policy, security and for all nations, growth, security Sagar project of Prime Minister Modi, and the neighborhood first policy. And I can tell you another thing I must share with you with my past as senior vice president of Adani Port. You know that CIFT, the terminal has been created next to the Chinese port, Habantota port in Sri Lanka by Adani. And Adani, when it went into the American Soros party and others, they got into try to play down Adani's reputation. What did Adani do? He said, okay, we will not take the USA loan in US dollars of $500 million. We will fund it ourselves. Who? Adani, APSEZ, Adani Port and SEZ will fund it internally. So these cooperations really coagulating and really intensifying is a very good sign. And our Prime Minister and the new Sri Lankan Prime Minister have met together, not a one day late. Simran.
Well, all right. In fact, thank you very much for giving us the overall detail on